Are you ready to uncover the truth? Before Mandela. There was Charlotte Maxeke before Nelson Mandela. There was a woman named Charlotte Maxeke, a South African queen of education, resistance and hope. But why don't they teach her in school? Her name was Charlotte Maxeke, born in 1871 in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. At a time when black South Africans were denied freedom, education, and basic rights, she stood tall as a pioneer, activist, and mother of liberation. In an age of silence, she spoke. In a time of oppression, she organized. And while men would later be remembered as fathers of freedom, her story was nearly erased. Charlotte's journey was not meant to happen. As a black woman under colonial rule, she was expected to be invisible, uneducated, unseen, unheard. But she refused to accept that fate. At just 20 years old, she traveled overseas and became the first black South African woman to graduate with a university degree at Wilberforce University in Ohio, USA. This was a time when even white women barely had access to higher education. But her return home was not welcomed with celebration, it was met with fear from the colonial state. Why? Because an educated African woman was a threat to their system. Charlotte Maxeke became a force of change. She led protests against the past laws, the same past laws Nelson Mandela would later go to prison for resisting. In 1918, she founded the Bantu Women's League, the first women's political organization in South Africa, the very foundation of what would become the ANC Women's League. She taught, she organized, she empowered. And while men led from podiums, she led from the soul of the people. Charlotte Maxeke passed away in 1939, but her impact still echoes. She was called Mother of Black Freedom in South Africa. Yet today, her name is missing from textbooks, her face rarely honored in statues, and her legacy, too often forgotten. But without Charlotte, there would be no foundation for the women's movement, no path for black education, and no true history of resistance. So why don't they teach her in school? Because powerful women make the system uncomfortable. But her story lives through us, through our voice, through HERstory. This is HERstory, real, raw, African.